screen for you regarding the, first of all, let us see the question which is based on this promissory note. First, namukku question onnu nokkam. I have sent you that Google form also. Adile Fasal, aged 34 years, son of Ibrahim Kuti, merchant residing at Chandni in Elamkulam village, Ernakulam district, lends to Riyas. So he is lending some amount to Riyas, aged 36 years, son of Abu Bakr, merchant residing at Abu Baita, Elamkulam village, Kanayanur Taluk, Ernakulam district, a sum of money of rupees 25,000 on the latter's executing a promissory note. Mobile on the mute, RDO mobile. I'll mute, no issues. Okay then. So, promissory note payable with interest at the rate of 12% per annum on demand. Draft a promissory note. Appo facts namukku idinu manasilayi. It is nothing but one person is borrowing money from the other person. Appo oru loan related ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് ആണ് പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് എന്ന് ഇതിൽ നിന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. And there are two parties name is given and the amount of 25,000 rupees is given. Then regarding the rate of interest that person has to pay from the date of giving the loan. And one word is ordered telling that per annum on demand. That is, when a demand is made, the other person has any way to pay this. So that is how this particular problem is. Two more people are joining. Okay. So this is the problem. Appo problem clear ആയിരുന്നു വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. സിമ്പിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ആണ്. രണ്ട് പേരുടെ ഐഡന്റിറ്റി അതിൽ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ എമൗണ്ട് മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ what is the kind of the, okay, everybody has joined. And next I am going to share that promissory note in the slides. Let us see what is meant by a promissory note and what are the ingredients of a promissory note. ഒരു promissory note ന്റെ പ്രധാന ഘടകങ്ങൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. So first of all comes the meaning. What is the meaning of a promissory note? Meaning ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടത്. It is a signed legal document that contains a written promise to pay a defined sum of money to a defined person on a stipulated date or on demand. Appo idana ingredients. What is this? It's a signed legal document. Somebody has to sign it. And what is contained in it, which is given as facts to you. There is a written promise by one person to another, and a defined sum of money is clearly given, 25,000 rupees. That's the amount which is given in that question. And it is provided to a defined person. That means the identity of the person is clearly mentioned. And date also is important. When you are writing a deed, a date is always important. I have so many times told you the importance of the date when it comes to a particular legal document. And what is it actually, this promissory note? It's a convenient way of prepayment of huge amounts of money taken as loan. This particular document can be given in exchange of a payment actually from the part of the other person. It is a mode of repayment of the loan. And by way of promissory note, the mode of repayment of loan gets predefined. In advance, you are defining the transaction between the people regarding a loan. How much amount you are taking as a loan? What is the kind of the interest you have to pay at the time of repayment? And who are the people involved? Along with the condition, whether it be given on demand or on a particular date. Both ways it can be made. It is possible. We can mention one date telling that on this particular date, 10th of September 2021, I will repay the money. Or you can mention it as when you are demanding, I will give you the money. The date is not there, but that is also valid under the promissory note. That's what you have to understand. So either a date is mentioned or on demand, the money is to be repaid by the other person. And it is in writing and legally binding. It's a legal document. We have already told. It's a signed legal document. And it is in writing. You have to restrict that promissory note into clear writing. Only then it is legally binding. and both the parties are assured that they are backed by law in case of any future glitches. If any problems are coming in the future, such kind of a problem can be solved by this document. You just show the promissory note telling that you are owing this much amount of money to me and pay it. I need it now. Like that, you can say in the case of a promissory note made on demand. Next, a promissory note is a negotiable instrument as covered under the Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881. So this is the laws which are related to this particular legal document. What are the laws related? It is the Negotiable Instrument Act, and other one is the Currency Act, Indian Currency Act. Section 21 of the Indian Currency Act stipulates that a currency note is not a promissory note. That also you have to clearly understand. Promissory note is just an undertaking telling that I will pay you such and such amount of money. Currency note also is a sheet of paper, but it is not equivalent to a promissory note. It is a legally allowed exchange of the money by the currency note. So Indian Currency Act section 21 says that currency note is not equivalent to a promissory note. We are promising, when you are giving a 10 rupees note to another person, you are promising that I am paying you 10 rupees. But that is something inbuilt in that particular currency note. It's not equal to a promissory note which we are writing and making it legally binding. Both are different things under the Currency Act of India. So these are the two acts which are related to this promissory note, directly and indirectly. Then let us see the type of promissory notes. Depending upon the kind of the promissory loan, notes are of different types. The loan may be taken for different purposes. So generally you can say that there are many kinds of promissory notes. One is a personal promissory note. What does it mean? When you are taking some money from the family or friends, it is always necessary that you have to have a pro note. It's from the family, definitely. It's from the friends, definitely. But still, there can be some problem arising in the case of huge amounts of money. And it is always safe. When you are having some money from your family members or from your friends, they may not be asking for such kind of a document. But from your part, what you have to do is, you tell that, let us have some kind of an assurance so that our relationships are not lost. You know what happens in the case of many relationships is that when there is a problem of money arises between the people, the total relationship is lost. Beautiful relationships are lost just because of the problem of money. Maybe it is with a friend, maybe we are having some kind of a relationship with our family members, whatever it is. So it's always safe to have a promissory note. It's very simple to form. And though people avoid legal writings when seeking a loan from close contacts, the promissory note shows belief and trust in the interest of the borrower. So from the part of a borrower, you can assure that you will definitely prepay the money, even though the person who is lending you is a family member. So that is how you have to understand the importance of a promissory note. So to whoever you are giving the money, when it is a very handsome amount, make it into writing. There is no harm in that. Even when you have to pay, it's always better to make it into writing, because that you will be having some kind of an obligation to pay it in time. That is needed for us to have a smooth life. Law is always there supporting our easy lives. Our transactions are made smooth if we are obeying the laws of the country. So that fact we have to remember as lawyers. And then comes a commercial promissory note. What is this? The note is made when dealing with commercial lenders such as banks. Maybe from the banks we are taking some kind of a loan. Such kind of a commercial understanding we can have. And most of the times it is similar to the personal notes. It is always in the same form. There is no difference in the format. And then comes real estate. It's similar to commercial notes in terms of non-payment consequences. When it is related to a real estate also, that means when you are going to buy some kind of a land and all, you are assuring a payment through this promissory note. And this is also similar to the commercial notes we are having. So in the personal note, in the commercial note, and when it comes to a real estate note also, the format is the same. Only the content is different. Why I am telling all this? If this particular promissory note is coming up for the examination, you have to clearly understand the content. Format is the same, content can be different. So these are all can be asked in the form of question. Hey, who is making noise? No, mute the phone. എന്തോന്ന് കൊച്ചു പിള്ളേരെ പോലെ ആരാണ് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാത്തത് ഫോണ് എന്തോ ഒരു കപ്പിയൊക്കെ വലിക്കുന്ന പോലത്തെ ഒരു ശബ്ദം കേൾക്കുന്നു എനിക്ക് ഓക്കെ then investments ആണ് next. Okay, if the borrower becomes a defaulter, then the party has the right to keep the property until the debt is cleared. So in the case of a real estate property, when the payment is not made by the other person, we need not transfer the property. That's it. And since all the essential details becomes public, which may affect the borrower's credit history in the future, there is something like that nowadays. You might have seen some kind of hoardings which are put on the post, electric post, telephone post and all. You might have seen some hoardings on which it is written, do you want to know your CIBIL score? Some question is asked, putting a hoarding. When you are traveling through that Kuttipuram Medappal highway, you can find such kind of hoardings on telephone post. What does it mean? Why should we know our CIBIL score and all? There are credit rating agencies in our country which will make a study on our credit rating. When you are taking some kind of a loan from a bank and a particular time period is given for you to repay, every month you are paying the money. If you are making a default repeatedly, that will definitely affect your credit score. Bank is having KYC formalities nowadays. You might have understood from the banking law. Know your customer. So every bank is supposed to understand the in and out of the customers, their financial dealings. Are they prompt in making the repayment? Everything a bank is supposed to understand, and the information they have to keep with them. And why they are doing this? Why they should know the CIBIL score of a private person? The reason is that you are going for a loan to the bank, and the bank must be assured that you are a person having a personal integrity and you will pay the money in time. So such kind of a thing, it's easily understood by the banks these days with the help of a CIBIL score. There are other credit rating agencies also in India, but this is something very important when it comes to credit score of a person. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് ഹിസ്റ്ററി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് വളരെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്. ഒരു ലോൺ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ ബാങ്കിലേക്ക് തിരിച്ച് കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് അടയ്ക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മുടെ പേഴ്സണൽ ഇന്റഗ്രിറ്റിയെയും ഫിനാൻഷ്യലി നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് സ്കോറിനെയും ബാധിക്കുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. അപ്പൊ ആ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് സ്കോർ എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ ബെറ്റർ ആക്കിയിട്ട് ലോൺ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് തിരിച്ചടയ്ക്കണം. അത് അടയ്ക്കാത്ത ആളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം രണ്ടാമത് അയാൾക്ക് ലോൺ കിട്ടില്ല. ദാറ്റ് ഹാപ്പൻസ് ഇൻ ദ കേസ് ഓഫ് പേഴ്സൺസ് ഓൾസോ. സെയിം തിങ് ഈസ് ഫോളോഡ് ബൈ ദ ബാങ്ക്. ഏതൊരു ലോണിന് വേണ്ടി നമ്മൾ പോകുമ്പോഴും ബാങ്ക് ഈ തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു സ്റ്റഡി നടത്തുന്നുണ്ട്. നവഡേസ് ദേ ആർ ഔട്ട്സോഴ്സിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് വർക്ക് ടു പീപ്പിൾ. നമ്മുടെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യും, ഫ്രണ്ട് എന്ന മാതിരി എല്ലാം സംസാരിക്കും, നമ്മളെ പറ്റിയുള്ള എല്ലാ ഇൻഫർമേഷനും അവർ ചോദിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കും, അത് അവർ ബാങ്കിന് ലീക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കും. സച്ച് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് തിങ്സ് ആർ ഹാപ്പനിങ് ബിക്കോസ് നവഡേസ് നമുക്ക് കാണുന്നില്ല നോൺ പെർഫോമിംഗ് അസറ്റ്സ് ഓഫ് ദ ബാങ്ക്സ് ഒക്കെ ഓൺ ദ ഇൻക്രീസ് ആണ്. ഇപ്പം ഗവൺമെന്റ് മൊറട്ടോറിയം പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചിട്ട് മൊറട്ടോറിയത്തിന്റെ മുകളില് ഏത് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിനാണോ മൊറട്ടോറിയം പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചത് ആ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിൽ കൂട്ടുപലിശ എടുക്കാൻ പാടില്ല, അങ്ങനത്തെ പലതരത്തിലുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ സുപ്രീം കോടതി ഇപ്പൊ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ banks are passing through a difficult time nowadays. So whatever I just mentioned related to the score of a person. So ഒരു പേയ്മെന്റ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കാൻ ലേറ്റ് ആവുന്നു അല്ലെങ്കിൽ റിപ്പീറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഡിഫോൾട്ട് വരുത്തുന്നുവെങ്കിൽ അത് നമ്മുടെ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് സ്കോറിനെ ബാധിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. സോ സർട്ടൻ തിങ്സ് വിൽ ബി മെയ്ഡ് പബ്ലിക് and it will be difficult for us to get a loan thereafter. So we have to be careful when you are giving a pro note to certain category of people or institutions. Then in the form of investments, the promissory note is occasionally used to raise funds for the business. In the case of big businesses, they are issuing pro notes. What is the need for that? It is used as a security purpose and managed by securities laws. We are having security laws in our country like SCRA, Securities Contract Regulation Act. Then we are having security laws related to the SEBI. Then there is a Depositories Act. Everything you might have heard of, but we don't have to study all these things. But there are laws related to securities of our country, and pro notes are also issued by certain agencies to collect money for the investments. Big companies and all investing in big projects. So they need loans from the people. Irrespective of issuing the shares to the public and raising money for their running business, businesses are having pro notes also issued for the purpose of raising the money from the public to continue their developmental activities. And it includes terms and conditions related to the returns of the investments. So what return you are going to get when you are giving some kind of a loan to the company? A particular interest will be fixed. So every year you will be getting such kind of an interest from the company based on the pro note you have issued to the company. So that is how all these types are. Then who are the parties to the promissory note? That's also important. All promissory notes constitute three primary parties. They are the drawee, drawer, and payee. But visibly we can find only two people. That means a drawer is a person who agrees to pay the drawee in a certain amount of money on the maturity of the promissory note. He is also known as the maker. And who is a drawee? He or she is an individual in whose favor the note is prepared. And in usual cases, the drawee is also the payee. That means ആർക്കാണോ നമ്മൾ പേ ചെയ്യുന്നത് അയാൾ പേയിയും ഡ്രോയിയും തന്നെയാണ്. Until and unless the promissory note is transferred specifically in favor of the payee. അപ്പോൾ ഡ്രോയിക്ക് ഒരു പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് കൊടുത്തു, അത് മൂന്നാമതൊരാൾക്കാണ് ആ എമൗണ്ട് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടതെന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ that person will become the payee. അങ്ങനെയാണ് മൂന്ന് പാർട്ടീസ് വരുന്നത്. ഈ പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ നോട്ട് ഡ്രോ ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളെ നമ്മൾ മേക്കർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡ്രോയർ എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നു. ആർക്കാണ് അത് നമ്മൾ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത് അയാളെ നമ്മൾ ഡ്രോയി എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ കാശ് കൊടുക്കാനുള്ളത്. ഇനി ഈ കാശ് കൊടുക്കാനുള്ള ആള് വേറൊരാളെ ചൂണ്ടിക്കാണിച്ചിട്ട് മറ്റേ ആൾക്ക് കൊടുത്താൽ മതി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പേയി ആരായി? മൂന്നാമത്തെ ആളായി. So that is how three people are coming in the picture. An example is also given here. So payee is someone to whom the payment is made. And most of the times the payee and drawee are the same people to whom the cash is paid. The party who has loaned the money keeps the promissory note, and when the due is cleared, the payee or drawee cancels the note and gives it to the drawer or the payee, depending upon the relationship between these three people. And what are the prerequisites of a promissory note? ഒരു പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഇതാണ് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ട ശരിയായിട്ട് വേണ്ട കാര്യങ്ങൾ. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് ഒരു പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ടിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? First of all, you have to be clearly understand that it must always be in writing. അപ്പൊ നെഗോഷ്യബിൾ ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെന്റ്സ് പ്രകാരം ഓറൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു അഗ്രിമെന്റിൽ ഇത് സാധ്യമല്ല. പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് ഈസ് ഓൾവേസ് ഇൻ റൈറ്റിംഗ് ആസ് പെർ ദ ലോ ഓഫ് ദ കൺട്രി. And mere agreement to pay back the debt is not a promissory note. That's a promissory note. Oral agreement is possible. The promise to pay should be lucid and expressed. What does it mean? You have to clearly write. We have seen, no, that question you have seen. The name of the people are given. What is the amount is mentioned. What is the kind of the interest you have to pay is mentioned. And the date also is to be there. And mere acknowledgement is not good. ഞാൻ ക്യാഷ് പേ ചെയ്യാം എന്ന് മാത്രം എഴുതി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് ആണോ? അല്ല. You have to clearly mention the amount of money which you have to pay along with the interest maybe. Interest വേണോ വേണ്ടോ എന്ന് നമുക്ക് തീരുമാനിക്കാം. That's something different. And there should be an unconditional promise to pay. What does it mean? പേയ്മെന്റിന് കണ്ടീഷൻ വെക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. നാളെ മഴ പെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ 50,000 തരാം. No, you can't write like that. It must be an unconditional undertaking to pay the money at any cost. എന്തായാലും ഞാൻ ഈ എമൗണ്ട് ഇന്ന ദിവസം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പേ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. അതിന് കണ്ടീഷൻ വെക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. And the undertaking to pay must not be contingent on the happening or non-happening of the event. അതായത് ഭാവിയിൽ വരാൻ പോകുന്ന ഒരു ഇവന്റിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു പ്രോമിസറി നോട്ട് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. And it should be signed by the maker. That means drawer has to sign that document, and it is mandatory for the person making the promissory note to sign it. That's also important. The only thing is that you are getting it into writing. You have to sign it also. Sign shows your authorization to pay the money. And sign adds trustworthiness to your document, and it will become legal document only if you are putting it into writing and signing underneath. And the promissory note can even be signed by maker's agent. ഇനിയിപ്പോ മേക്കർ തന്നെ അത് സൈൻ ചെയ്യണം നിർബന്ധമൊന്നുമില്ല. അയാൾക്ക് ഒരു റെപ്രസെന്റേറ്റീവ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ റെപ്രസെന്റേറ്റീവ് ചെയ്യാം. ആ റെപ്രസെന്റേറ്റീവിന് ഓതറൈസേഷൻ ഉണ്ടായെങ്കിൽ, and who has been so authorized to do so by the maker himself. And the pronote should be clear about the identity of the person undertaking to pay. ഏതോ ഒരു fictitious നെയിമിലല്ല നമ്മൾ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Party's identity must be clear. Aged, what is their address, everything you have to mention. And maker should be a certain defined person. Drawer defined person ആയിരിക്കണം. And the person who promises to pay should be a certain person. That means identity should be kept clear. And even if the person takes up an assumed name, he would be bound to pay as the maker. ഇനിയിപ്പം ഒരു assumed പേരാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇടുന്നത്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഓരോരുത്തർ കോമൺ പേരൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിക് നെയിംസ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ആ പേരിലാണ് എങ്കിൽ കൂടി പൈസ അടയ്ക്കേണ്ടി വരും. That's the only thing you have to take care of. And the payee should also be a certain person. മൂന്നാമതൊരാൾക്കാണ് ക്യാഷ് പേ ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പേയിയും certain ആയിരിക്കണം. And every promissory note should clearly mention the name of the payee or the name of the person to whom the payment is promised. And the promise must be to pay money only. What does it mean? ക്യാഷ് കൊടുക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ നമുക്കൊരു പ്രോനോട്ട് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. എന്താണ് അതിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കണ്ടീഷൻ? I promise to pay current. Some name you can add. ₹500 and 10 kgs of rice. Can you write like that? You cannot, because you have added a word 10 kgs of rice to this. You are not supposed to write like this. What you are supposed to write is the payment of the money which you are going to make, not in kind. എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. ഞാൻ 500 രൂപ ഒരു 10 കിലോ അരിയും തരാം, ഒരു ചാക്ക് അരിയും തരാം. You cannot tell like that. In a promissory note, the repayment you have to reflect in the form of money only. So that is also very important when it comes to a promissory note. And only legal tender money is acceptable as promissory note. Rare currencies or coins wouldn't be taken as valid promissory note. That is as per the Currency Act of our country. And the amount to be paid should also be certain. Appo clear alle?